Welcome to Narrative Tales. In today's episode, I will be interviewing Elma Khan and her experiences in community building. What's your name and what do you do?
My name is Elma Khan, and I am a community engagement officer.
Okay. So let's start a bit early through your schooling. Can you walk me through your schooling in college? Like what subjects you studied and where you studied?
Yeah. High school, I went to a private school called Australian International Academy, based here in Melbourne. And when I graduated, I went to Victoria University and I studied my bachelor's in psychology, which was about 3 to 4 years. Can't remember. It was a long time ago. But majored in psychology, and my minor was in sociology. And then after that, I started working.
So, how would you explain psychological studies to someone who doesn't know what that is?
So I think it's the study of a person, holistically. So you study like the brain and the mind and why certain, things, the chemical reactions that happen in the mind or in your brain that influences your behavior. It also kind of speaks about nurture versus nature, and how, the society kind of works together, how people follow rules and how people might be deviant, and kind of just breaks it down for you to understand a person holistically.
Yeah. So, how would you explain sociology?
Sociology was really interesting because it kind of merged both the understanding of a human's like biology, which I learned through psychology, and then sociology was how it's presented within the community and how it influences the community, and why we have rules and regulations, and why we have laws, and why some things are considered unlawful to do, and it kind of shows how people's behaviours within society and within a community kind of plays out. So it kind of merged together in a overall understanding of like a society and how it functions.
Yeah. What do you think the transition was like from going to high school to a college?
It was very different because I went to a private school. So it was quite in my private schooling, it was really strict. There was a lot of rules. There's a lot of pressure on making sure that you're getting the right grades, making sure you're behaving correctly, making sure that you're wearing the right uniform, making sure your tie and your top button's done up straight. And then when you transition to go to university, you have much more freedom. You have, you don't have teachers telling you that, you need to make sure you're getting the top scores, and they don't really monitor what you're wearing and things like that. Those are kind of left up to you to do. So it was really that the learning from high school of becoming an individual and being dependent wasn't really given. So when you went into university, you had to kind of figure it out on your own and find your own feet and find like your own identity. I think that was it was a tricky phase through that transition, but you learn a lot along the way, and you do a lot of self-growth as well. So I think it was challenging, but it was good in a way because I did find myself through that process.
Yeah. So after college, what was it like starting your first job?
So when I finished my undergrad, I actually went overseas. So I went to Bangladesh, where my parents are originally from. And after college, I was like, do I really want to pursue this career in psychology? And at that time, it was a yes, but I didn't know if it was like 100% yes. So I went overseas and I did a lot of aid work in Bangladesh. So there was a couple of orphanages that I worked at. And I did a lot of community development within those areas. And I did that for about 3 months. So I found myself enjoying that more. So when I came back to Australia, that was the field that I wanted to be in, and I could apply my psychology degree into this field because I have a holistic understanding of community. So when I came back, I was looking for jobs within the sector, and then I was also I was a young person, so I graduated really early. I graduated when I was 19. And I was really fortunate to get a job at the local council in the community development sector. So it kind of played out really well. Yeah, it was, and I think I had a really great experience for my first professional job. Because I was a young person, I had great mentors during that period of my time, my life. So I was able to learn a lot from my mentors, and they were able to guide me in a lot of the things, in that sector.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you mentioned community development. What is community development?
It's being able to provide the community with the resources and tools to be able to become dependent and live a fulfilling life. So the kind of areas that I had been working in were in areas where the demographic had a low socioeconomical status or a background, vulnerable, disadvantaged communities. So it's being able in a local government sector to be able to identify the needs and speak with the community to co-design programs and initiatives that will support their development.
Yeah. So you mentioned communicating with the local government. How do you go about that?
So I work for local government. So within that sector, in community development, say for example, the community would say they would want to develop skills on running a micro business, for example. Within local government, we do have different kind of departments that can support that. So we have like leadership programs, for example, or we have like the eco dev department, which kind of support micro businesses in setting up and giving them the right tools and like information sessions and training for them to be able to do that. So even though I work in the community development team, I'm able to draw on different teams within the organisation to support the community and their needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what do you think? What differences do you see between developed communities and developing communities?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think developed communities, they have a different set of priorities compared to developing communities. So, for example, for a developed community, they might have the general kind of resources that that we're fortunate to have. So like, for example, being able to put food on the table, or being able to pay for different kind of training or programs or kind of recreational activities. So they have the funds and the resources to be able to do that because they have the kind of income to support that. However, with developing communities, they may not have those funds or the accessibility for these programs and trainings because of their socio-economical background. Most of the times, the programs that we would run in our centres will be of no cost. The trainings also that we would provide will be of no cost. And then we would also partner with different co-services to provide like a subsidised rate for communities that aren't able to, they don't have that privilege of being able to fund whatever they're wanting to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what other jobs have you done? Where other places have you gone to help?
Yeah, so I've mainly stick to community development. However, as I was saying, because I was 19 when I started in local government, I was really fortunate enough to have mentors, and I was just fresh out of uni. So I had the opportunity to go around in different departments of the local government sector. So I started off doing kind of like admin, work in the community development unit, and then I was able to work in community strengthening, which focused on community with accessibility, different kind of accessibility requirements. So I did that for a couple, I think 6 months, and then I moved into statutory planning, which was about town planning, how to plan a local area, roads and things like that. So that was really interesting, a little bit outside of that community development sector, but it really gave you a holistic understanding of, what kind of areas were more developed than others. And then I moved into youth development. So I worked with youth for quite a long time. So youth in Australia is considered 12 to 25. So anyone within that age bracket were considered a young person, and I was able to develop programs and events, co-design them with young people. And I kind of finished off at one of the local governments, Moonee Valley City Council, with the with my last job being a youth development officer. And then I moved into a different council as a venue service officer, which worked in the arts and culture department. So we had a theatre part of our building, our facility. So we were able to provide different kind of events and showcase the culture of Brimbank within that space. And then I moved into program development officer, which is also considered a community development officer, and was able to work with a large group of community in providing different kind of programs, events again. And then I moved up as a senior team leader. So I was managing a team and delivering even greater programs and events to the community. And also part of the strategic direction as well to the team. And then I moved into community engagement. So I'm a community engagement officer at the moment. And the difference between a community development officer and a community engagement officer is that in community engagement, you're really supporting the community to make their influence decision making for council. So there might be a strategic action plan that the department has to deliver on, and you seek advice from the community to ask if we're actually on the right track, or if this meets their needs, or if we should alter it to better suit their needs. So it's a bit more strategic than community development, and it's a bit more overarching and making sure that the council plans are in line with what the community needs are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you mentioned going to different places to work. What is it like exploring different cultures?
Oh yeah, it's really great actually. I feel very privileged to be able to go into a different kind of community group and understand what their needs are, but also learn what their culture is, and kind of immerse myself into that, and understanding that different cultures have different kind of way of life, which is really nice to know. And fundamentally, everyone's just so community minded and oriented, I think, because I work with culturally, linguistically and diverse communities and marginalised communities quite often. It's really great to see that collectiveness amongst each other. So I think that's something that's really similar amongst all cultures and all kind of demographics. And it's just great to learn new things from different people. I keep learning something new every day, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So if you could give an approximate number, how many places have you been?
Oh, that's a good question. Can't think of the top of my head, but it has to be 10 or more. Yeah, definitely 10 or more. And just working with different kind of demographics of people have always been just amazing. I've always enjoyed that part of my work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So out of all the places you've been, which ones do you think were the most memorable? Maybe a couple you could share?
Yeah. I remember, so the volunteering in Bangladesh was really memorable for me because I worked with orphans during that time. And they were just like, you would see these young kids that, have close to nothing, but are just so happy and joyful and just grateful for what they have. And it really shaped the way I perceive my privileges and what I have as well. So it really put things in perspective for me. And I've really enjoyed working at Flemington Community Centre. It was a place where I started my career, and I learned so much, and I have so many skills, and I'm very grateful to the mentors that I had during that period of my career. And the community were just so inclusive and just so welcoming to council workers, which was really great to see. And we really shaped that community there, which has been really amazing. And then I worked at Westvale Community Centre as a program development officer, and I really enjoyed my work there because I was able to have the liberty of, engaging with community and making a real difference. So those were probably my top three.
Yeah, so you've been to a lot of places, right? What do you think are some of the most valuable lessons you have learned from your travels?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely be open to learning new things and understanding where people are coming from. So always being able to listen and engage with community, which was really great. Also, that I don't know everything, so being open to taking on feedback and really shaping the way that I do my work. So, for example, one way of working for one community will not always work for the next community. So taking my time to understanding what their needs are and adapting and shaping my resources and tools to be able to deliver to that community. So that's always been a really great challenge for me, and always being able to upskill in that. And having empathy and compassion as well is something that I've developed over the time. So.
Yeah. So you've seen a lot of different people live a lot of different lives. What do you think success looks like?
I think if you have a good network of people around you, and you're able to, I think hang on, let me try to rephrase this. I think having a good network and a community around you it really brings out the best in people. So you might be having a really horrible day, and because of your circumstances or whatever it may be, but then you're coming home to a community that will uplift you and value and love and share your experiences with them, and they make you laugh. Like that's the sense of community, and I think that makes a really successful person, is the people that are around you that uplift you every day.
Yeah. So on a broader scale, how do you think new technologies that develop around us, how do you think these affect underdeveloped communities, like AI, for example?
Yeah, for sure. So in my current role as a community engagement officer, we use the digital platform quite a bit as well. So, and because there's that understanding of that the digital platform is the kind of the future, right? And we kind of need to go through that, be on board to roll with the punches, kind of. I think so with our facilities, so we have community centres within different kind of communities, and what we try to do is to upgrade the facilities that we have to be able to keep up to date with like the new technologies that we have. For example, AI and things like that. So we would run programs and courses and training for community to be able to upgrade or to learn these new skills, and also provide them with the resources to practice these new skills. So, for example, we'll have like a computer lab or, a computer lab for them to come in and to be able to engage and practice these skills. We also have our libraries, which are also a key service, and we have officers there as well to support in that development as well. So we understand that there are these new kind of way of life now, and we develop our programming and our training to be able to meet those requirements.
So a lot has to go into making all of these things possible, running different programs with a lot of different steps and people. How do you go about planning all of that and then executing everything?
Yeah, so part of our planning process is to have the community on board. So it's the co-design process, which means that we plan and we plan the program with the community to make sure that they're happy with what the delivery will look like. And then we also do a significant amount of research to make sure that these programming is aligned with like our strategic direction, so council strategic direction. And then we make sure that we have enough resources. We have the set amount of budget every year to make sure that we're, within budget. And then we do like a risk assessment as well to make sure that if there's any risks or barriers that we can mitigate. And then to deliver the programs, programs are usually regular through the school term. So that's about 3 months. And it'll probably happen once a week for maybe 1 or 2 hours. And those programs, they run in that kind of structure. And to be able to make sure that we're meeting the needs, we need to have certain amount of participants a part of the program. So for example, if we have like one participant, we wouldn't stop the program, but we would say we're going to put it on a pause, but that person that has enrolled into the program can still come into the centre and we can still support them, but the program structure would look a bit different. Usually at the start, we put like a whole project brief together to make sure that we're meeting all our requirements and the community is satisfied with that. And then, we would deliver it throughout the year.
Yeah. So maybe you can walk me through step by step what one of the programs you ran was. How did you go from having no program there to having a fully running? Like maybe you can take me through step by step.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking of a program. We can talk about... okay. So I ran a Westvale mural project for young people. So there was a bit of funding with arts and culture to be able to run, to engage with the local artist. And then we wanted to be a little bit more than that. We wanted it to be in this mural that we were going to have in the centre. We wanted it to be reflective of the community. So we put out... so first what we did was we sat down with the arts and culture officer, and then we sat down with the artist to talk about what our wants and needs are, and it was to be able to do this beautiful mural that's reflective of the community. But we wanted to do it with young people. So the next step was to put out an expression of interest to gauge interest from young people that would want to be part of the project. So we've put that EOI out, and then we had about 8 young people sign up for that project. And then we've got them all together, including the artist, and then we brainstormed what the mural should look like and what they wanted part of that mural. And so we've spent a couple of hours together sketching away and making sure that we're inclusive of all the ideas and it's reflective of the community. And then over a series of 3 weeks, the young people and the artist came together. The artist would share his skills and understanding of how to do a mural, and the young people would also learn and also be able to be part of, painting that mural. So that happened for 3 weeks. We had the local newspaper come and do a cover on the mural. We also had our internal digital and comms to do a cover on that mural. It was quite successful. We had their families come and have, do like a little reveal as well. And there was more community that wanted to get involved in that kind of project, and I think that's what the biggest thing is when you're doing something and more people want to get involved and they want to engage with the program. So yeah, that's one.
Yeah. So, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now?
Yeah, I really do like the work that I'm doing. I think for me, I would like to stay in the community development or the community engagement sector. I think I would move into a more senior role in the next couple of years, and then just keep moving up. I think for me, that's what I would like. Hopefully, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's, bigger thinking and wishful thinking, but being a manager would be really the next step, the next couple of steps, but I see myself there in the next 10 years.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's been great to hear. That's everything I have to ask you. Is there anything you would like to ask me?
Yes. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. Well, after college, I guess I would. Yeah, so 5 to 10 years would be after my college. I think
Yeah.
right after my college, I'd want to go into an engineering role.
Oh, yeah. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, as like a civil engineer or
Yeah.
like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Civil engineering is great. My cousin's a civil engineer, and he was part of that project of building the freeway from Dhaka to Kulna, which will limit travel time. So, and he's done an amazing job there. And I just see civil engineers around me that have done amazing jobs. So I definitely know if that's the route you want to go into, you'll do just an amazing job.
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, that's everything. Thank you for participating.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching this episode of Narrative Tales. If you enjoyed, check out some of my other videos.